Hey, ladies and gents, we are back. We are looking at the new setter. It's the beginning of the high-tier British light tanks. What was this tank? Well, this was a 1964. They put out a requirement for a need for a combat reconnaissance vehicle. And in 1965, they produced the first prototype or the first mock-up prototypes of this new line of vehicles. From what I can understand, there was a mock-up, then there was possibly 2 prototypes, and there was possibly up to 17 prototypes. I can't find a actual number that anybody agrees on, the number of prototypes built of this setter. Yeah, so just an early production prototype that would become the CVR, Combat Vehicle Reconnaissance Tracked, CVRT, family of light tanks for the British. You can tell by the look of it, it looks a little bit similar to these tanks. Everybody's familiar with these, like the Scorpion, one of the fastest tanks ever produced. The fastest tank, I do believe, ever produced, with a top speed of over 80 kilometers an hour. This whole family of tanks, including the Striker, the Spartan, the Sultan, the Scimitar, the Stormer. I believe there was also one called the Samaritan, which was a ambulance. But yeah, the setter was the first of the prototype of this group of family of tracked vehicles, and they produced a number of these. In fact, they're still being used today, right? This series of tanks. So this was the prototype for this family of CVR, combat vehicle reconnaissance vehicles. So that's the history of where this tank comes from. Like I said, mid-60s or so, roughly. This was armed with a 75 millimeter. I believe that most of the productions were 76 millimeters and above. The Scimitar, I do believe, has a 30 millimeter autocannon. So yeah, it's the basis for that whole family. What do we get in game? This is one of the few tanks I've ever give a 2 thumbs down. And I'll be honest with you, I rocked a whopping 30% win rate in this tank. I tried spotting, I tried shooting more shit, I tried using a fair amount of premium rounds. It does have good pen at 180, and 220 for the APC round. And I'm not going to complain about the gun handling. It did work pretty nice, and it has 10 degrees of gun depression. However, with the 135 average damage, and of course, the rather seems like small ammo loadout of 35, it suffers from that. I mean, and this comes down to the fact is that there's, a handful of maps that light tanks can do what light tanks do. And if this thing was just able to see those few maps, it probably wouldn't be too bad to play at a tank. However, you don't always get that run of nice maps. Hence, this thing is sometimes, you're pressed into service to do other things. Most light tanks now are kind of geared. You can play it as a light medium. They have, they have enough firepower. They don't have the HP, of course, but they have enough firepower to do a little bit of damage. This tank, no. That 135 average damage, you're going to shoot all day long just to put out, a measly 1,532 average damage, and that's with equipment on here. We're going to do the comparison here. I'm going to show you what I got for Tier 7 light tanks. I got a couple premiums as well. This comparison is literally disgusting when you're looking at here. The Type 62 is probably one of the best Tier 7s, probably the best Tier 7. But yeah, so the firepower-wise, it actually outdoes the Hawk 12 at 180. But the real big difference here is the Hawk 12 still does 240 damage versus your 135. So it's 105 more average damage, right? So, in a Hawk 12, if it doesn't get a great map, it still has the ability to do a little bit of damage. This tank, it just doesn't, right? It just doesn't. Survivability, kind of middle of the pack. But here's where the really kind of stuck. So it's rated at 677, and it has a lot to do with is this traverse speed is just ridiculously stupid at 43.81. It turns like a truck with all its tires flat. It is absolutely trash when it comes to its mobility. Still doable, I guess, if you had some decent concealment. But once again, its concealment is still relatively low, compared to the top three, I guess, tanks. And of course, its view range, once again, is not that great. So you really don't have great. You don't have great mobility. You don't have great firepower, and you don't have great concealment or view range. All the kind of the standard things you need in a light tank, and that's unfortunately what you get with this tank. And it made it quite hard to play, right? And if you look at the initial starting guns, this is 957 average damage per minute with 110 average penetration. There isn't even a thing remotely close to with the gun selection, right? So you're going to start out just horribly bad, and I would suggest if you're going to use any free XP, start free XPing. Don't even bother with these guns. Just go directly to the turret and try to get at least to this 75 millimeter. These two up here just aren't worth the effort. Same way with the engines. There's only like 20 horsepower difference here, so you'd probably even play with the base engine. Get the tracks, get the turret, get the gun, right? But yeah, it's stock is absolutely horrible. I played like 2 games stock with it. I was like, nope. So I free XP'd some of the equipment, or the turret and the gun, and the tracks, just to get out of that nightmare. You will hate yourself if you don't. With the stock gun, even the second gun, you will hate yourself. You will rage quit, and you'll never play this tank again. So if you really, really want to get into the British light tanks, this is going to be a difficult tank to play. It's simple as that. 135 average damage, 100 average. Like I said, the pen is nice on the tank. 220 for its premium rounds, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yep, 220 with APCR round. So penetration-wise, it's fine, right? 11.35, and then that 5.29 reload time. With that little of damage, with 135, the reload time should have been down in the low 4s, high 3s, to be effective, right? I mean, you normally have low damage but a high rate of fire. You don't get this. I think the Type 62, really fully kitted out, is still like 4.5, right? And it still averages 50 more damage per shot than this tank does. 1.73 aim time, 10 degrees of gun depression, 0.36, and a whopping 1532 average damage. Yeah. Survivability, 860. Hull armor, turret armor, the non-existent. This, of course, I do believe is aluminum, just like the later CVR tanks. Mobility, once again, 43.81 is just trash. Top speed, even at 58, is still pretty trashy. And, of course, the reverse speed, not the greatest. So, yeah, even trying to run away in this tank, you're going to get your shit shot up. Concealment, 20.15. And the spotting, with this setup, having to run both of these is 463. However, the base at 370 is brutal. What I would suggest, if you wanted to, unless you really, really want the fucking British light tanks, don't bother. And I haven't even played I'm still getting to the tier 8. It's going to take a while. At a 30% win rate, I'm having a fuck of a time getting to the next tank, and hopefully I'll do that here the next week, at least to get the tier 8 version or tier 8 review done. However, 2 thumbs down on this tank. Unless you absolutely want these, unless you, hopefully, maybe it gets better. I don't know with the later higher tier tanks, but your first start out in this game or in this tank, either you're going to have to grind to and grit your teeth, or you're just going to free XP at one or the other, because it's not worth the time and effort unless you really want to get those top tier tanks. It's such a poorly implemented tank with the current way maps are, with the current maps that we have, and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to bring up some gameplay for you guys to watch the setter. Hey, ladies and gents, back with the first game in the the setter. Playing here with Rommel. Yeah. So now imagine this tank against tier 9s. I mean, yeah, you're going to see 6s and maybe some 5s once in a while, but a lot of times you're going to see, because tier 7 is still fucked for matchmaking, you're going to see a lot of you're going to see 9s, and with that, with the sheer amount of 135 damage, it's not going to be easy. And that's kind of one of the other downfalls of this tank. It just doesn't have, I mean, super small and everything and all that kind of crap, but it just does not work. Even against his own tier, I just can't tell you enough how underwhelming this tank is. So LT432, I wanted to get up into those bushes, but he's already been there, so there's no point in me trying to get up there and just outspot him. So I'm going to just kind of do a little fire support here, back up here, and we're going to see how relatively pathetic the firepower on this tank's going to be here. So I'm playing back here a little bit, using the bushes for cover. Hopefully he's going to light something, and I'm going to be able to get some shots. We got slapped. Our Rommel's in the back here, picks up the AMX 1375. Like I said, running binocs and coated optics to get it up to at least a somewhat decent view range. There's the Lynx EBRs. These guys scare the shit out of me in this tank. Oh, there we go. 147. That fucking scared him. That scared him right there. He's got so scared he automatically lost 479 health just because of the way it is here. So pick up the Udez. We'll put a shell in the bottom of him. And here comes the 6x6. Yeah. If he would have got around to the... it would have been disgusting. He would have HE'd myself to death, and I would never even had a chance. So LT432 EBR is taking off here. Here we go. We pick up the Black Prince is coming through here. And we put a shot in the bottom. 180 pen is still pretty nice. However, I don't have enough HP to do that, so we're going to track him here. And that's what we're... Yep, there we go. We're going to keep him track. And while he gets pummeled here, I'm going to pick up the assisted damage on him. There we go. Get about 886 roughly out of the assisted damage on that tank. The LT432's moved up here, so I can probably, hopefully, move up here into this bush and do a little scouting here. Nice small tank. I mean, it's small enough to get into some of these bushes and make it work here. I'd really love to pull the trigger on him, but once again, I would smack him for 199, and I still wouldn't have enough, even maybe in the next shot, to kill him. I mean, that's actually something you'd have to worry about, right? With 210, that you would not have enough to kill him in 2 shots. Yeah, so the Udez is running. AT-15A is pulled down there in the back, so he's not... I couldn't even... I don't even know if I can pen... Well, yeah, I probably could if I got directly 90 degrees to his side. His rear might even be a problem. So we're not going to go balls walls against the AT-15A. We're just going to see here if we can keep anything lit up here on this ridge line. LT-432s keep poking on him. There's 2 AT-15As, and they're both platooned, so I'm guessing the other guy is probably with him. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting, because they reload pretty quickly. They do about the same amount of damage as I do, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, but they have quite a bit higher DPM than what the poor little setter has. So we're going to hang out here. Once again, great gameplay, right? Alright, so we're done. We're going to start moving up here and see if we can pick up a little bit of spotting, at least, right? Pull up here into the next bush here. I got Rommel's moving up into the bush I just left here, hopefully to give me a little bit of support here. Pick up the M4043, and we're not going to try to fire at him just as barrel's poking here, and I don't really want to light that AT-15A up either, because I'm going to get spotted here. So we're just going to try to keep the M4043. He's completely oblivious that he's spotted. Hopefully, maybe one of our artillery is going to take a shot at him. Maybe knock him out here. There we go. LT-432's picked up here on this, the Comet. And he's behind the cover here. Let's put a shell into him for 113. Yep, that scared him. We've switched to HE shell. We're going to try to get him in the track. I was hoping for a track shot. And there's the AMX 1375 off to the side. So I've lost a little bit. APCR from AT-15A, because why not? See, he hit for 147. Didn't scare me, right? So we're on the run. Yeah, so let's see if we can pick up some more of that AT-15A action. He pulled out. Can't pick him up here. There's the ISU 152. Can I get a shot on him? He's a little far away. Nothing going. So they finished off the M4043 finally. Let's see if I can get a shot here on the rear of this. Nope, that didn't work either. However, I'm picking up the spotting damage here on the AT-15As, keeping them lit. Ooh, thank you, sir. May have another, right? So there's the S51. He has been spotted by the LT-432. Kills the LT-432. And I'm behind the bush here, so I don't have to worry about him. There we go. First kill. Puts me up to over 1,000 damage, which most of the time wouldn't excite me, but it's a setter, so I don't get to see those kind of numbers often. Alright, pull you here on the UDES. Can I pick up this guy here before he's dead? Oh, nice 117. So that puts me up to 1,200. I'm about 2246 for spotting. Not even a stellar game, but honestly, guys, it was hard to make this thing perform very well. So one more game for you guys to check out, and yeah, check out the setter. All right, fellas, back with the second game in the setter. We are looking at, so I got Storm with me, and I got Mill Hill, which is awesome. Mill's running the AMX, and I think Storm's got the Eagle, right? So this should be interesting. I have two clan weights with me. This should help me out a little bit, right? We will see. Unfortunately, that doesn't, yeah. So, we're on the Polish map, and we're off to the races here. Slow, you know, moving-wise. Yeah, it takes a while to get up to speed. So, pinging where I'm headed. I'm going to try to get to some bushes right there and hopefully, possibly, pick something up here. My usual wobbly gun as I drive. I don't know why I do that, but we're going to pull over here into the bushes here. And realizing at that point that we have nothing coming here other than that Wheezy 120 to the far corner. Storm is coming over this way as well. However, I have a bunch of TDs camping and a T-34-100, so I don't have a lot of support. So this is not somewhere I want to be. I don't want to get too deep into there and get picked off right away. So we're just going to make a little bit of an active scout. Not a great active scout because you just don't have the speed, mobility, and or view range to play the active scout, or or the camouflage factor would help here. So we're going to have to do something else here. We're going to pull in. We're just going to look a little bit more, see if I can pick up anything, possibly making a run there with that Wheezy back there. There we go. Somebody picked up the P-43. I didn't even get a chance to do that. And he's up against the edge here. So he's already taking a shot. The EBR is running across middle. And I'm telling Storm, just get out of here, man. This is not someplace that's going to work out well. So, round we go. We'll try to keep this stuff lit. That's what I'm supposed to be doing as a light tank. Yeah. So, T-34-100 has moved up kind of to the deal. We were talking in the chat, like, all right, so Storm's like, I'll stick here. We have two TDs over there, SU-130PM and the Wheezy. So I do have plenty of firepower here. However, I don't want to get stuck out there too far without too much support. There's only really, honestly, 5 tanks here. This can be a real nasty line here. So I back up, look at the absolute slow traverse speed just to get turned around. And we're going to pull into the bush here. Pick up the M10. He's running hard. Brabruski. There's my SU-100 M1. I'm sorry, I thought it was the 130 here. We pick up a little bit of spotting on him. Come on, somebody finish him. He is running hard. Tracked him, and we're off to the races here. So we picked up a nice quick 1140. I tracked him. I shot to track him so we can finish him off here. So the P-43 Terra is hanging out on that edge. We're going to back up into the bush here. Hopefully try to keep him spotted. slow reverse speed on the tank. And once again, just waiting here to hopefully pick up something. So flipping back, see if there's anything coming. Nothing. About that time, I think P-43, where he's at, if now you're not familiar with that position, will of course be able to shoot everything down there around the CD 6-7 line here. So we're going to have to get out of there. I'm going to have to go proxy spot that location. Otherwise, those tanks on that corner are going to get wrecked. So P-43 Terra gets picked up again. He's just sitting there. There's a bush right there that you can fire across the other side. However, once he goes dark, they won't be able to see him again. Around we go. We're just going to check the corner here before I get carried away. There's always a possibility there could be 7 tanks sitting there, because I've did this before, right? Drove right across that road right there and demolished here. So pulling next to the building here, and I'm just proxy spotting him, just so those heavies on the other side aren't getting shot on the side. Yeah, I know you're getting attacked from all angles, but I got to be a little bit careful here. I can't completely jump into this. So 2 TDs, the T-34-100's finally moved up here. We're going to give a possibility that they're going to, yes, they are going to completely push in. We are sitting 3-2 here, and there goes the T-34-100. He's going to shoot the P-43 Terra. He was more interested in shooting at me. There goes that. Oh, everybody's just dog piles. I missed the easy shot. Let's see if I can finish him off. There we go. Finish him off. And yeah. So kind of a cluster here. First started out here. We're at 5-2 right now. Thankfully. Most of their heavies are dead right now, or a good chunk of them are. Let's pull in here. Let's see if we can spot anything. There's the IS-2. Got a possible shot there, but yeah, let's wait. I'm not playing with of course, most of you guys have watched my reviews. I don't play with I just started at 100% crew, so I don't even have 6 cents, which should kind of be difficult, I guess, is you have to be a little bit more conscious. There's the T-26E5. Let's put 128 in there. That'll scare him, right? No. All right, so T-34-100 picks off the Oni, get a little more assisted damage out of it, and we're actually doing pretty well, 8-2. We're going to go center here and see if we can pick up anything. All right, we're looking across here. There's the EBR. I want to get underneath here, and I pull off a bullshit with my aluminum armor from the AMX AC. So he's looking at me. Oh, there he hits me for almost 400. However, I do have him spotted, and he is pulling back off of that hill. Let's see if here we can shoot the EBR. There's AT-15A. Get a nice foot. Somebody's shooting at me from the other side. That's probably that IS-2. Let's get out of there so I don't get... he might not even see me now. Let's see what this EBR is up to here. I know there's an AT-15 here. And, of course, that AMX. There's the EBR. Come on. And, of course, why would I not be able to shoot a tank that's directly in front of me? All right. So, don't want to deal with the AT-15A left. Kind of dunked a shot here. Let's see if... Come on. He's running. Let's see if the relatively slow gun traverse. All right, so they finished off the EBR. Storm did. So now I got the rear of the... picked up the T-27 sitting in the back. Let's see here. Let's keep the AT-15 tracked. Come on. Another one. Doing a little bit of damage. Picking up a lot of assisted damage. One more into the AT-15A. And we're out of there. M12 decides I'm the biggest threat on the map. He drops 331 on me. AT-15A is almost dead. Come on. There we go. Alright, so off to the races. We got the one artillery. He's straight ahead of us. We're going to roll over here and see if we can possibly break 1,000 damage. Probably not. So, pick up the M12. We spotted him. Picked up some assisted damage on the M12, and we are done. Relatively quick games, guys. Sorry, this tank is not worth my time and effort to keep playing it. It is frustrating. So if you're started down this line, good luck.